accomplished. But still the cup might slip from her lips. Her father was now dead but 10 months, and what answer could she make when the common pressing petition for an early marriage was poured into her ear? This was in July, and it would never do that he should be left, unmarried, to the rigour of another winter. She looked into his face and knew that she had cause for fear. Oh, heavens! If all these golden hopes should fall to the ground, and she should come to be known only as the girl who had been engaged to the late Sir Florian. But he himself pressed the marriage on the same ground. "They tell me," he said, "that I had better get a little south by the beginning of October. I won't go alone. You know what I mean, eh, Lizzie?" Of course she married him in September. They spent a honeymoon of 6 weeks at a place he had in Scotland, and the first blow came upon him as they passed through London, back from Scotland, on their way to Italy. Messrs. Harter and Benjamin sent in their little bill, which amounted to something over £400, and other little bills were sent in. Sir Florian was a man by whom such bills would certainly be paid, but by whom they would not be paid without his understanding much and conceiving more as to their cause and nature. How much he really did understand she was never quite aware, but she did know that he detected her in a positive falsehood. She might certainly have managed the matter better than she did, and had she admitted everything there might probably have been but few words about it. She did not, however, understand the nature of the note she had signed, and thought that simply new bills would be presented by the jewellers to her husband. She gave a false account of the transaction, and the lie was detected. I do not know that she cared very much. As she was utterly devoid of true tenderness, so also was she devoid of conscience. They went abroad, however, and by the time the winter was half over in Naples, he knew what his wife was, and before the end of the spring he was dead. She had so far played her game well, and had won her stakes. What regrets, what remorse she suffered when she knew that he was going from her, and then knew that he was gone, who can say? As man is never strong enough to take unmixed delight in good, so may we presume also that he cannot be quite so weak as to find perfect satisfaction in evil. There must have been qualms as she looked at his dying face, soured with the disappointment she had brought upon him, and listened to the harsh, querulous voice that was no longer eager in the expressions of love. There must have been some pang when she reflected that the cruel wrong which she had inflicted on him had probably hurried him to his grave. As a widow, in the first solemnity of her widowhood, she was wretched and would see no one. Then she returned to England, and shut herself up in a small house at Brighton. Lady Linlithgow offered to go to her, but she begged that she might be left to herself. For a few short months the awe arising from the rapidity with which it had all occurred did afflict her. 12 months since she had hardly known the man who was to be her husband. Now she was a widow very richly endowed, and she bore beneath her bosom the fruit of her husband's love. But even in these early days, friends and enemies did not hesitate to say that Lizzie Greystock had done very well with herself, for it was known by all concerned that in the settlements made she had been treated with unwonted generosity. End of chapter 1. Recording by Laura Koskinen.